How we doing? That's Bug.
That's me.
This is another episode. This is fairly episodic.
I think it's
episode.
Let's call it an episode.
Welcome to another episode of What the F Did We Just Watch? Today we are going to do something a little darker.
Oh, okay.
I
have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, no,
She hasn't given me anything other than true crime.
Yeah.
That is literally the amount of information I have going into this.
Yep. It is a true crime story. It is a rather bizarre one. And I've known about it for a while now. And it somehow just came up again on one of my feeds. And I was like, oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, no, that's interesting. I wonder what Bug thinks about this. So we're going to be reacting to the true crime story of Heather Quan and Ryan Waller, who you probably have never heard of.
I have not.
Okay.
That's remarkable that I've never heard of it.
A true crime story.
I mean, I'm wearing a My Favorite Murder t-shirt
Podcast.
right now.
Yeah.
Like, all I do is listen to, like, crime and paranormal podcasts.
Yeah, those are our favorites.
All day long.
Yeah.
That is what I do.
I have Bailey Sarian on in my house almost 24/7 just because I like her approach to murder, makeup, mystery. Like, I like how she tells a story.
Right.
So hopefully I can do just as well and hit you with something that you've never heard or seen before. So before we get too far into it,
We haven't gotten into it at all, please.
the story of Heather Quan and Ryan Waller they were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay.
Heather Quan, 21 years old.
Okay.
Ryan Waller, 18 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Living together in Maricopa County, Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, but this was 2006. This has been a while ago.
Okay.
So that's why I can kind of safely talk about it, I guess, because I don't feel like I'm really stepping on anybody's toes. I will say that information on this is really scattered. Like, there are
Okay.
a number of kind of conflicting reports, and we'll get into that. But Heather Quan and Ryan Waller were living together in Arizona. 2006, they had plans to spend Christmas Day with Ryan's dad.
Okay.
They never showed. So Ryan's dad calls, I think his name is Dan or Don, calls the police and asks them to do a wellness check on Ryan and Heather. So the police come out. Ryan answers the door, and you'll see the kind of state that he was in because I'm going to show you some of his interrogation, because they showed up and Ryan is in bad shape. He looks like he's been beat up. He has the biggest black eye I've ever seen.
Okay.
Like black.
Okay.
And so the police are like, y'all okay? And Heather appears to be sleeping on the couch. But Ryan is a little scattered and doesn't know why the police are there, doesn't understand their questions, or is being intentionally evasive. So they look a little further because they can see Heather, so they have probable cause to go into the house because Heather's not moving. Oh, don't worry. This is not too much information, but they see Heather on the couch. She's not moving. She's not responding. So they have probable cause to go inside.
Yes.
And they find that Heather is dead from a gunshot wound to the temple.
Duh.
Yeah. So what do? It's got to be the boyfriend. Mm-hmm. So they put Ryan in a squad car.
It's usually the boyfriend. Yeah.
They put Ryan in this, especially because he's being evasive. Like, they're asking him questions.
I mean, even if he was being, like, very forthcoming, like, that is a suspicious situation. Like, your girlfriend is dead on the couch, and you weren't the one who called the police to say, "Da fuck, something wrong."
And not only that, but he wasn't really acknowledging Heather on the couch. So the whole thing was really, really weird and spooky, and the cops were like, something is not right here. So they put Ryan in a squad car.
Mm-hmm.
He sits in the squad car for about an hour while they're checking out the scene, looking at stuff.
Right.
And then they bring him in for interrogation. And this is where I'm going to show you a little bit of the interrogation. Now, keep in mind, Ryan kind of was acting like Heather was just asleep. Like he said she was just sleeping and he didn't want to bother her or wake her up.
Okay.
So the police are kind of like, something's not adding up here.
I'm with them.
Yeah.
I'm with them.
Yeah. So, but hold on to your horses because we're going to see exactly what happened with Ryan's case. So here we see the interrogation room before Ryan is brought in. He's brought in. Look at that shiner.
Yeah, that happened a while ago though. Like it takes a while for an eye to blacken after it's been hit.
And that's a black eye.
Yeah.
That's not,
That's bad.
Hit by a cupboard or something.
Well, and he looks like he's got an abrasion above his eyebrow,
something on his nose. Yeah. So
his jaw maybe. Like, yeah, he looks fucked up.
So they put him in this interrogation room and they leave him where, like, you see at points he puts his head down. He's got his head in his hands. At one point, he picks up that piece of paper that's on the desk.
Oh, that's the first thing I would do.
And he looks to be shuddering a bit, almost as if he's crying. But he picks up the piece of paper at one point and he is looking at it like it's very important. So here we go. We got a detective coming in.
Feet up on the table. Okay, that's...
Well, they haven't put his feet up on the table so that they can get photographs and swabs of it. Like,
okay.
I believe he was in his shorts when he was arrested. Well, not arrested, but detained.
He had two black eyes.
Yeah, there's something going on with the other one too, right?
Yeah.
So you look at that and you think he's been in a struggle. Like if Heather fought back, she got some good licks in, right?
Right.
But they've got his feet up so that they can take photographs and swabs of it. The detective is
normal.
Yeah, kind of in and out. They've got him in the paper suit that they leave him. And then the detective comes in and starts talking to him.
Okay.
Now this is 20 minutes into, he's been sitting there for 20 minutes. Okay.
It's actually a short amount of time. They usually leave you in there for a hot fucking minute.
But remember, he's been in the squad car for a good hour.
Right.
So now detective, I believe his name is Dalton. I have some notes here on my phone that I can reference.
There's no sound.
No,
Are we supposed to be hearing what's happening?
Let's see if we can put the closed captions up so we can see what's going on.
They're
unavailable.
Okay.
All right.
I can to know what the questions are, though.
I can
and
fix
how
this.
He's answering.
Okay, so it's a little hard to hear, but Detective Dalton has come in and is talking to Ryan. Said he's asking him questions like your birth date, your social security number, which Ryan answers readily.
Okay.
Let's see if we got.
You know why you're down here, Ryan?
He asked him why he's there. Ryan doesn't know.
I'm gonna read you something so you can understand because I don't know what happened. Okay, so I'm gonna read you something to make sure you understand your rights.
So he's Mirandizing him at this point,
which he should do.
He should do.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can see Ryan holding his head, saying his head hurts.
This kid's got a bad concussion.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure of it. That explains why he's so out of it and doesn't understand. Like, yeah, he's going to remember his social security number and all of that because he's had them his whole life.
Right.
But the concussion is making everything recent fucked up. It's got to be.
So Ryan, very non-committal, feet up in the chair, staring off into space.
Yeah, his body language is interesting.
I don't know.
Detective's answering him like, you know, what grade, what's the highest grade you completed, you got in
How would Heather hit me?
school? And Ryan's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not normal.
And then goes on to say that the highest he got was 8th grade,
I forgot why.
which is not true. I'm not sure if Ryan graduated high school, but we know that he attended high school.
Okay.
So,
Accident. Heather hitting me. What did she hit you with?
so he's saying Heather hit me
Eye.
in the eye.
But what'd she hit you with? And he responded with in the eye.
Not really, no. Not really? What happened for her to hit you in the eye like that? She just hit me on accident. She was hitting Christina's head. She was what? She was helping Christina with her hair or something. I don't know. Who's Christina? She's on the couch. Christina's on the couch.
See, Christina's on the couch.
What's Christina's last name? I don't know. What does she look like? I really don't know.
Asking what Christine looks like. I don't know. I really don't know. Like, his answers are all just like, I don't know. I don't know. And as he gets frustrated because he can't remember, the detective, of course, is pushing harder because he thinks Ryan is hiding something.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Right.
20 maybe? I don't know.
So he goes on to be interrogated for about 2 hours. Spent an hour in the squad car, 3 hours since the police stopped in. Now, they noticed that Heather, it seems, had been dead for days.
Oh,
Several
Jesus.
days.
Oh,
She was alive on December 23rd because that's when Ryan and his dad made plans that they would go over on Christmas Day to spend
okay.
with him.
Well, and that a couple of days does coincide with the state of the bruising on his face.
Right. So it's taken a while for Ryan's injuries to show up, but that's consistent with
But
Heather was
yeah.
alive on the 23rd when they all talked to Ryan's dad.
Right. So it had to have happened shortly after that.
Yeah.
Heather's phone number.
And who's this Christine person that they brought up?
Ryan mentioned someone named Christine. No one named Christine was ever connected with the investigation.
Interesting.
He's just been asked if he has Heather's phone number. He says, I don't know.
I don't know.
Another, I don't know. Like, he's,
I really don't. I just want to go to sleep and go to sleep.
He wants to go to sleep. Concussion. Traumatic brain injury.
Heather hitting you in the eye, right? I don't remember after that because I couldn't lay down to go to sleep. Right. I don't know what anybody was doing. I really don't. Who was in the house when you went to sleep? Christina and Heather. Christina and Heather. Okay.
at this point, we're going to skip ahead a little bit.
Did you shoot Heather? Uh-uh.
He says he didn't shoot Heather.
I heard you have a lot of guns in your house. Uh-uh.
He is a gun enthusiast.
No?
There were guns in the house.
You know we're going to look.
He seems distinctly
Brian, why don't
uninterested
you tell me what really happened?
He does.
in the questions.
I don't believe.
His head hurts. He wants to go to sleep.
I don't tell you anything, I swear. I want you to tell me the truth. That's all I want. Richie and his dad came there.
Richie and his dad came there.
I don't know why, but they put me in sleeping holes and put me in sleeping holes with the arrows and shit. I lived through that crap. Okay, they put you in a sleeping hole? Yeah. What is that? I don't know. I don't know.
He doesn't.
I don't know. Well, explain it.
So that Richie and his dad came in. They had bows and arrows.
Right.
I really don't know.
And
Put him in a sleeper hold using the arrow.
I really don't know.
Yeah, and said, I survived that crap. Like,
Yeah.
Tell me, you're all over the board here, number one.
the detective's frustrated because he's saying Ryan's all over the board. And he is. Like, he's not getting anything out of this kid.
But this is what kills me is that a detective
He shot you with a revolver in
who is
your
looking
eye.
at this kid with all of the injuries to his head
No, it was a real.
is not putting his disjointed responses and the clear injury to his head together to be like, hey, maybe this kid has some kind of a brain injury. Maybe he has a concussion. Maybe we should talk to a doctor to see if this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, is this your first day as a detective and you've never heard about detectives prior to this day? Like, I don't understand why they're not putting this together. I'm a novice, and I know this shit.
We're not detectives. We're just true crime enthusiasts.
Like, that's the first fucking thing that I would think is this kid's got a brain aneurysm.
You're saying revolvers, and you're saying some other thing, and you're saying they shot you in the eye.
Richie and his dad shot him in the eye, is what he's saying, with a revolver.
With a revolver in your eye. Yeah.
He's got a bullet in his head.
And is it a BB gun? No, it was a real gun, man. It was just a revolver. They shot you in the eye with a revolver. You wouldn't be talking to me right now. How do you know? It's most likely you'd be dead. That's what I thought too, man. I really don't know. Okay. I really don't know, and I just want to go back to sleep and try to go back to bed.
This kid's got a bullet in his head.
Back door.
So now we have Richie and his dad breaking in the back door with the
Why would they come on
revolver
Christmas Day?
on Christmas. Well, what didn't happen on Christmas Day, they called, his parents called on Christmas Day to check on them.
It had
So
to.
we're gonna
it had to
skip
have been
ahead.
the 23rd or the 24th.
A little bit. So the detective leaves him alone for a little bit, comes back.
Where? Richie. Yes. Richie shot his own sister. Yes, I swear. That's it. So they're not me. And you've been shot in the eye. Yes.
So he's saying that Richie is Heather's brother.
No. Richie is a former roommate of Ryan's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well,
there's
just
a
said
lot of
shot his own sister.
well, he may have shot someone else who was his sister.
Okay.
So finally the detective,
Is examining his head.
and Ryan says, my head hurts. And realizes that there's a hole in his nose.
Yeah.
There are also 2 holes near his eye.
Oh my god.
So the detective, poor Ryan.
It's been a couple of days, so yeah, it would have. I mean, you would think he would either bleed out and die, or it would scab over the entry and exits and such.
Seeing your face and the way you're doing things, it just doesn't make sense right now, okay? We're just going to make sure you're okay.
3 hours later, you want to make sure he's okay.
That's the problem. If you have some kind of head injury, you shouldn't be sleeping, okay? Oh, sit down.
So they call in an ambulance. Before the ambulance gets there,
For fuck's
fire
sake.
department gets there and takes a look at him and is like, yeah, this
We're gonna
kid's
wait for the bird.
messed up.
Been
Like,
shot in the head,
yeah,
in
we-
his face hole.
we see the holes in your face.
Hi, baby.
What's his last name? I don't even know.
The
Did
Richie
he just
and
say he doesn't know his own last name, or was it Richie's
I
last
think
name?
it's Richie's last
Okay.
name.
Okay.
The Richie he's referring to and his dad are Richie Carver and his dad Larry Carver, who Richie was a roommate of Ryan's at one point, and both are gun enthusiasts. So there's different reports on what happened to like escalate a situation between them. One was that Richie hit on Heather. One was that Richie wanted a gun that Ryan had and Ryan didn't want to give it up. So what's happened is he's given these names.
My biggest
like-
question is, why did that detective continue to ask him questions, like knowing there's something wrong with the kid's head?
Yeah.
At this point, like, none of this is going to be admissible because he has a brain injury. He was
Well,
shot in the face.
At this point, they're not pursuing charges against Ryan because he was obviously the victim as well.
Well, but you
He's just-
still can't trust anything that he says because he was shot in the face.
right.
So
So-
stop questioning him. It's not going to do any good.
Hello, Mina. Are you gonna conclude this with us? So we saw Ryan's interrogation. We saw the injuries to his face. We heard him say Richie and his dad.
Right.
Richie, like I said, former roommate, did not live there at the time of the shooting.
Okay.
So what happened was that there had been an altercation, like I said, at some point where Richie and Ryan were no longer roommates.
Okay.
Apparently that stuck with Richie. He got his dad, and on December 23rd, 2006, Richie and his dad attempted to break into Ryan and Heather's home through the back door.
Okay.
Ryan saw them coming and went to shut the sliding glass door that they were attempting to get into. Richie reaches around with a revolver, shoots Ryan
In his face?
anywhere from 2 to 4 times.
Okay.
So Ryan's been shot in the face. He falls. Richie and his dad, Larry, think he's dead. They step over him to where Heather had been sleeping on the couch.
And woke up to this commotion.
Yes. And shot her. Richie shot her in the temple. So she falls back on the couch. That's why Ryan thought she was sleeping.
Because when he got up, she was sleeping.
Yes. So for 2 days, Ryan has a traumatic brain injury, bullet fragments in his skull, a dead girlfriend on the couch who he thinks is sleeping.
Yeah.
He is sleeping with this brain injury.
Yeah, you have no concept of the passage of time.
Right. So, and his brain is so damaged that when he answers the door for the cops and is like, "Why are you here?" They're like, "Are you kidding? Have you seen yourself?" So, as we all know, like we said, when a spouse is murdered, their spouse is the prime suspect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Especially,
it's always the husband. It's always the husband.
Especially because Ryan did not acknowledge that Heather was dead when the police got there. He said
it looks like
sleeping.
He's covering it up.
Huh? So Ryan's interrogated for up to 2 hours. He was in the squad car for an hour. So now 3 hours. And at this point,
you're shaking the entire setup.
We're going to have to do this again. At this point, I don't know that a couple extra hours did any more damage.
No, I
which
don't
is
think
what
so.
the police claimed when questioned about this. But Ryan has been in his home with bullet fragments in his brain for 2 days now. So early in the morning of the 26th, 5 a.m., Ryan is undergoing interrogation. It takes the investigator or the detective at least another hour to notice that he's got holes in his face.
Because the synapses are fucked up.
Yeah. But what happened in the end was...
That detective makes me mad.
Yeah, he made a lot of people mad. In the end, what happened was Ryan was taken to the hospital and immediately underwent brain surgery where they had to remove part of his brain. He also lost and this is where reports are conflicting. Some reports said he lost both of his eyes. Some said he lost his left eye and then later his right eye. But in any case, Ryan is now functionally blind.
Fuck.
If that's the right word, legally at least. Part of his brain is missing. He is now completely dependent on his parents because he can't care for himself.
No.
And he suffers seizures for the rest of his life, which he died 10 years later in 2016.
Wow.
After this absolutely disgusting miscarriage of justice.
I don't know that it would have. I mean, I do have to say, I don't know if
the difference a couple hours made.
Yeah, I think the damage was already done when they found him.
And I think you're right.
But
you still didn't get him medical help. There was no medical assistance on the scene when they did a wellness check, which is pretty typical. Like, typically it's just a couple of police in a squad car, just making sure you're okay. And if they see a situation where someone is injured, they call in an ambulance. This was not done.
Yeah.
Instead, Ryan was sat in the back of a squad car for at least an hour and then brought into an interrogation for at least another hour or two. So I think you're right. I think that delaying any kind of medical care probably didn't hurt, but it certainly did not help.
Absolutely.
Now, you'll be happy to know
and
that
you never know.
Richie and his dad, Larry, were both tried and convicted of first-degree murder and attempted murder and are currently serving life in prison for this. But unfortunately, Ryan, his life was changed forever.
Mhm.
He had very limited faculties and capabilities. So like I said, he couldn't care for himself anymore. His parents took on his care until his death in 2016. Yeah. So that is the incredibly sad story of Heather Quan and Ryan Waller.
That's fucked.
I'm glad that justice eventually was served, and Richie and Larry Carver
doesn't change anything for Ryan and Heather.
Yeah, I'm glad that Richie and Larry Carver are in prison, but Ryan and Heather are still dead. Ryan's parents had to go through this with their son with limited faculties and capabilities, just to make sure that justice was actually served, because obviously Ryan post-surgery wouldn't have been a reliable witness.
You can't count on anything that he says at that point. He been
was
so badly damaged.
100% a victim in this, not only by Richie and Larry, but by the Maricopa County police force and detectives.
Well, and unfortunately, we see that, like, particularly with our Black and brown brothers and sisters, just on a daily basis, where the cops think the worst and
they assume immediate culpability.
Yes, and don't get them the medical treatment that they require, and like that just
defund the police.
You defund schools all the time.
Yep, infrastructure, etc. But yeah, no, defund the police. Put those funds to social work and home assistance, families at like DCFS, that kind of thing. I can't believe in this day and age that, well, yes, I can. You see it all the time. I'm not one to be like ACAB, #ACAB, but #ACAB. I've yet to see an instance of a policeman using his job for good. They are out there. I'm not seeing them. Now, I know that we only see the bad things on like social media and in the news and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I do believe that there are good cops out there. But that saying of one bad apple spoils the barrel, if you don't get rid of the bad apples, the entire barrel is spoiled.
Because they're covering for each other. That's not one bad apple spoiling the barrel. That is a bunch of bad apples.
Yes.
Like covering for each other makes you part of the bad apples.
Yeah. You're involved. And not only that, but if you're a good cop and you speak out, you're punished. Mm-hmm. You're moved to the beat. Your family is threatened. Like you're
passed up
bad
for promotions.
Cops. Yeah. Did I think that the detective in this case was a bad cop? I don't. I think he made assumptions and let that lead his interrogation, and that's where the damage came from.
I just, when someone, even if it's a suspect, has physical injuries, like if it's not part of your protocol to get a medical professional to examine the person, to judge whether they're capable of even being interrogated.
Yeah, I mean,
how was that not the first step?
Yeah.
In this,
who made the decision to say like, oh, this kid's giving us like really runaround answers, he must be lying, instead of he must be really suffering. But anyways,
my dog is driving me nuts.
She's driving me nuts today too,
ma'am.
But we're gonna wrap it up and say thank you for watching this incredible miscarriage of justice.
What the fuck was that? Nina, my love.
I'm gonna thump you on your head.
She's go play. Go find something to do.
Fat chance.
Nope.
But yeah, that's another episode of What the F Did We Just Watch? And I think I can safely say to Bridget,
what the fuck did we just watch?
Yeah.
This
like
one.
I said, I'm gonna strangle that dog.
Just for
this morning, half an hour every day. Like, let us just do our thing. But yeah,
I thought you were saying you were gonna strangle my dog for half an hour every day.
If that's what it takes. I love her, but womp womp. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry that you had to.
My life. This is my life.
At least you got to see Mina, which is all she wants.
Yeah, my void.
But yeah, if this was too much for you, let us know so that we can kind of rehab what we're doing, because we do want to include reactions
feedback. Please.
To everything we come across and not limit ourselves. But if this is something that you're like, I don't want to hear about stuff like this again, let us know. Just let us know.
Let us know.
Yeah. Comment,
Also,
like, subscribe.
Hit that bell.
Or Mina's gonna come get you. We're gonna unleash Mina on you.
Why are you trying to chew on me?
Because y'all took my sticks away. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Glad to see you again. And we'll see you next week.